Good morning to all the students of political science once again here. Today we'll start the fifth part of the second chapter of our book, The End of Bipolarity. We had already finished with our four parts. In that, we studied about economic political situations going worse to worse day by day and how slowly and gradually USSR disintegrated finally in 1991. So usually as we know, US and USSR were the two superpowers after 1945, that is Second World War. But here USSR disintegrated, so world was left only with one superpower, only sole power, that is US. So this was the Cold War between US and USSR for the ideology. This Cold War was also known as ideological war, as USSR followed the system of socialism or communalism and US followed the system of capitalism. But here, after the disintegration of USSR, that is end of communalism in USSR, there was an event known as shock therapy. So before I move forward, I would like to tell you what is the meaning of shock therapy. And this event or this particular term is totally relevant to disintegration of USSR after 1991. This is the condition, basically condition situation prevailing in Russia or USSR after the disintegration of USSR. The shock therapy. So I'm taking here the definition first, see it carefully. A painful process of transition from an authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system. A painful process of transition, a complete change of a system in a particular country, like in USSR from the last 70 years, after 1917 when USSR was formed for the first time, from till 1991 they had followed the system of communalism, but suddenly there was a complete change of system, that is communalism to capitalist system. So that is why it is written, a painful process of transition means change, complete change from an authoritarian socialist system to a democratic capitalist system. Now the people of USSR or of the all the republics or 15 countries of USSR, they wanted to follow a system which was called capitalist system, which was democratic in nature. So this process was called shock therapy. Why it was called shock therapy, we'll be reading the elements of it. But first of all, this is just the meaning that the transition from an authoritarian socialist society system to a democratic capitalist system. Another definition of it is down here. The model, it's one and the same thing, just a few changes. The model of transition means change, complete change of the system, which were according to which a people were governed from authoritarian socialist system to a democratic socialist system. Means in USSR everything was controlled by state, that is government. All the resources, all the government functioning were under government, and there was only a single government, which I told you was a communist country, communist party, sorry. Only single party was there. According to this socialist system, this party controlled all the resources and all the functioning and governing of the government of USSR for all its 15 members. But here it transition took place, and now people wanted to shift to democratic capitalist system, where the people have the freedom, right to speech, demo, and the other methods, and privatization of property. So in Russia, Central Asia and East Europe, under the influence of the World Bank and IMF. So here Russia wanted to be a capitalist country now, and under the influence of World Bank and IMF. And we'll study in the further chapters, we'll study in detail about the World Bank and IMF. These to help these countries to make a transition from their old system to a new system. And the old system of colonialism was being followed for more than around 70 years in USSR, and suddenly there were changes. They changed all over the whole system. It took to a lot of problems for the people and for the economy of all the members of USSR. It was not an easy transition. It was very painful. It was not easy. It was never easy, or it is not going to be easy for any of the countries who are following a very old system, and finally suddenly they believe that they have to follow other system in their country. So because of this sudden change in the system, large garage sale. This incident took place under shock therapy. This event was large garage sale. What was large garage sale? This also happened under shock therapy. That is when disintegration was finally taken in 1991. So what is large garage sale? It was resulted due to the shock therapy. Yes, it's clearly written. The reason for the large garage sale is shock therapy to undervalue the valuable industries of USSR. All the industries which were very valuable and very important for the economy of USSR when they were following a communalism ideology, those industries, those factories, those firms were sold for throwaway prices, means kabad ke bhav. They were sold away in throwaway prices just because there were a transaction from a socialist society to a capitalist system. When they were changing from a socialist to a capitalist system, there was a sale of the industries at throwaway prices. Although these industries were very valuable for the USSR government, but its price decreased very badly, and this was incident was called large garage sale in the world politics. So before I move forward and I tell you the effects or the consequences of shock therapy, what were the consequences of shock therapy on economy and people, I would like to tell you few points regarding shock therapy, that what were the changes or incident took place at that particular time. What were the changes? So first of all, shock therapy involved privatization of property. Under shock therapy, what were the things happening? Privatization of property. The property which was owned by the state previously, now those property was sold to the private individuals. Private firms, new factories, industries were sold to the private owners. Complete with over to free trade and foreign direct investment. Now there was a free trade and commerce had started. Previously the trade, commerce and all the business activities were taken under the head of government. Only government had the right to make those trade and commerce between the different countries. But now direct foreign investment was being started, direct FDI. But now and breaking old existing trade alliance. Previously USSR state had old alliances to govern the trade and commerce, but now as the independent individuals, they were linking relations directly with the West. Now the trade and commerce were directly being linked with the Western countries, which were more modern. They were capitalist countries. So now the countries of this USSR, which were disintegrated and became the independent republics, they wanted their trade and commerce to be alliance with the Western countries. Now moving forward, I will repeating the same one of the same and the other points. What were the consequences? Finally, shock therapy. I have told you what was shock therapy and what were the points which were taken under shock therapy. Now, what was the effect? Okay, we had changed the system. Transaction was made. We have started the capitalist system. But what were the changes we have seen in the economy and people's life? The first part is here, which I have already told you. Largest garage sale of history. This is the largest garage sale of history. The term was given. In history, never so much of sale was made for the industries. Around 90% of the industries was sold to private individuals. 90% industries of whom? Of USSR after its disintegration were sold to private owners. Who bought them? Private individuals bought them. Companies at throwaway prices, at very low prices. Although those industries were very important for the economical growth of USSR all these years, for 70 years, but now they were devalued. Another is ruble, currency of Russia. Ruble is the currency of India, Russia, which was very powerful, declined dramatically after the transaction was made. There was a disintegration of USSR. Now the currency's value has drastically declined. Now inflation means mehangai. Inflation went too high that the people lost their savings. Now people had certain savings because the state or the government of USSR used to support all the public. And now when the things has the price of all the basic commodities has increased too high, to buy the commodities to be alive, people had lost all their savings which they had made all these years. So these were the problems which were coming after the shock therapy, that is after the disintegration of USSR. Another is government. Government means government of USSR, that is Communist Party. Government withdraw subsidies. The subsidies were given to the poor people or the middle class families in relation to their education, their jobs, food grains, everywhere their subsidies were given to the people. Social welfare was discarded. Now government has discarded these particular social welfare policies. This pushed larger public to poverty. Because of this, government now had no role to play for the public. This pushed larger public into the poverty. They had all their savings they had expended on the important commodities which they had to buy, like food grains, to survive. Now they had no savings at all, and the support they were getting from the government previously under communalism, where all the resources were controlled by the government. Now the government had no role to play for them. Now the privatization has taken place. The rich were becoming richer and poor were becoming poorer. Another point is mafia emerged and control economic activity. Mafias here means all the individual who are controlling the economics and the industries and all the capitalist system of USSR or Russia, or all the individual republics I told you. Now mafia emerged and control economic activities, leading to increase in crime. Now the rate of crime has increased in these countries like Russia or Central Asia or East Europe, the countries of East Europe which disintegrated from USSR or Russia. Now their crime rate has increased because the maximum control over the resources was by mafias. Half of Russia other finance. Now half of the Russia's financial banks and financial institutions were bankrupt. Bankrupt means they had no money, they had nothing to do. All was bankrupt here. So these are the impact of shock therapy which we saw, and this is only because there was a transition from the socialist system to a capitalist system by USSR allies or the countries under USSR. So these were the two definitions, and I told you about large garage sale. What was large garage sale? It came under shock therapy. These all were the outcomes of shock therapy. And what was shock therapy? This after situation of Russia and other countries of USSR after the disintegration of 1991. So further I shall be telling you. This is the last topic of our this second chapter, and this is a small topic where I told you all the topics are relevant with India. So here also, like in the Cold War, we told Cold War and Cold War and India. Here I will be talking about India and the post-communist countries. Here basically I am talking about India and all the post-communist countries, means who were the part of USSR. These countries were the part of USSR, but after disintegration, what was the relation of these individual countries with India? So in contrast to this post-communist countries, India has maintained good relations with all of the post-communist countries. As India was a member of NAM, but it's still India has maintained good relation with all the post-communist countries, but the stronger relation are still and between Russia and India. Although all the members, that is all the members of USSR, how many members were there? 14 members plus one Russia. So all the countries had good relations with India, but the most important relation was a strong relation was between India and Russia. So what were the relations between them? Russia and India shared a vision of multipolar world order. That is, Russia and India both had the same vision. They had the same thought that there should not be a single power, there should be a multipolar world, a world which should not have a single power. The power should be divided between different poles. Okay. Second is collective security. Though both of them planned and assigned various policies to give protection and security to each other during the war or during the conflict with other nations. Negotiated settlement of international conflict. They took part in various conflicts in international level. And independent foreign policy. They both were not under control of any other country. Like previously, Russia was under the USSR and India was under British, but now both of them had their independent foreign policy to run and govern their policies of their particular country. And decision making. Both of them played a very important role in UN also, in the decision making all over the country. It means they both are taking part in the international affair, world affairs. Then next is India is benefited. Now the word what is the benefit of Russia being a good friend of India, and what are the benefits of India being a close friend to Russia? So first of all, India is benefited. What are the benefits of India from Russia? Like in Kashmir issue, when we are in conflicts with Pakistan or other, or US pressurizes India, Russia is always in support of India when it is a matter of Kashmir. energy supplies, all the resources, energy supplies like oil, natural gas, etc., resources, minerals are exported to India from Russia at reasonable prices. Sharing information, new information technology is shared between Russia and India. International terrorism. This is one of the most important problem nowadays in all over the world. International terrorism is growing so fast. To control this, India and Russia supports each other. And the last is in return. What does Russia get in return? Russia is benefited from the India on the ground of second largest arm market. India is the second largest arm market for Russia. India buys all the arms and ammunition and all the equipments, military latest technologies from Russia for its army. So this is the relationship between India and Russia. This is talking about after the disintegration of Russia. Although Russia took around 10 years after 1991, Russia was struggling a lot as it has started following a capitalist system, but it could not grow fast. It took around in after 2000, that is after 1991, disintegration of USSR. Russia was a separate country now. It took around 2000, it started developing its economy. Before that, it was struggling a lot. Thank you, and this is the finish of this chapter. And soon I shall be giving you assignments, of course, of the first and second chapter both. You have to make proper notes. You can follow my these points, but don't write as it is. You can write a lot of things about this. Basically, I have given you idea of the chapter, and most of the important things I have told you here in first chapter and second chapter. So start making your notes of both the chapters properly in detail, and I shall be giving you assignments relating to these two chapters very soon. You need to go and check your student ID, and you will get the homework there. Till then, thank you so much.